Hello, friends, and welcome back to Information and Inspiration for Your Wellness Journey. Today, we're going to begin to lay the foundation for your wellness journey, for your journey to be well. I believe that when your body, your mind, and your spirit are functioning optimally and they're in sync, then you can show up for life as the best version of you. And isn't that what we all want? But so many of you are not well. Either your body, your mind, or your spirit are not where you want them to be. I talked in the introductory video about chronic diseases and the fact that they're called lifestyle diseases. Now, you'll want to think of lifestyle as your habitual way of thinking and being. These are your habits. Habits don't require reasoning or decision making. These are things that we do without thinking about them. To be sure, they have their place. You don't want to be thinking or making decisions about every little thing moment to moment throughout the day. So, when you get dressed in the morning and you put on that shirt or blouse, you don't want to be thinking about, well, how do I button this? Did I button this? Should I button it from the top or the bottom or anything? No, you don't want to go through that. This is something that you've done hundreds of times and it works for you. And so you do it the way you've always done it. So when habits work for us, they make life simpler, they save time. But when habits work against us, what about that? A sedentary lifestyle could be just one of a dozens of habits that may not contribute to your well-being. Others are toxic relationships, negative self-talk, being too passive and allowing people to take advantage. When a habit threatens to make you unwell, what happens when you continue to, you ignore those signs and continue with that habit? Well, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. To put it another way, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. If your lifestyle, your particular set of habits has put you on track for one or more health challenges, chronic diseases, chronic conditions, as I've said before, you can get off that train. And there's no time like the present, as in today, as in now. Your journey to be well will require change. And as we all know, change can be difficult. Old habits die hard. They can be difficult to break, even for a short period of time. I know that we all know someone who's gone on a diet for a certain period of time and lost weight. I still remember when I was working for IBM in the branch office in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I was a systems engineer, and there was a coworker who went on a diet, and we'll call her name Sally. That's not her real name. Sally went on this diet, and she was probably 35, 40 pounds overweight. And she reduced her caloric intake and did whatever else she was instructed to do on this diet. And she lost all of that weight. And the transformation was really amazing. I'm going to say it was probably a couple of months. We watched as she lost all of that weight. And back then we wore suits to work. So she bought new suits, and my goodness, she really was a transformed person. But she ended her diet, and then she, started to regain her weight. As a matter of fact, she regained all the weight she lost and then some. And it was really sad to watch her as, watch her as she realized that the diet had failed and all of her efforts had been in vain. Of course, there should be no surprises here, because 80 to 95% of diets fail. And why is that? The problem is that diets are temporary. Your journey to be well will not include diets or any other temporary changes. The changes we'll be making on this journey are going to be so profound and so life-changing and so beneficial that it would be absolutely tragic to go back to the old way of doing things and the old way of being. So what we're talking about here on this journey is essentially, we're talking about making new habits, new ways of doing things permanently in your life. So you want to get into that mindset that the journey to be well, this channel, is about making permanent change. Now, this brings us to mindfulness. In order to change your way of thinking, in order to change, to make lasting change, you have to change your way of thinking. And in order to change your way of thinking, it's necessary that you change, you become aware of the way you think and aware of those thoughts. According to the National Science Foundation, every person, the average person, has up to 60,000 thoughts every day. And of those 60,000 thoughts, 80% are negative and 95% are repetitive. So our challenge is to become aware of those of our own negative and repetitive thoughts, which contribute to negative and repetitive habits, or that's a bit redundant, but negative thoughts and those repetitive ways of doing things. Only then can we transform negative thoughts to positive thoughts and hence make positive change. Mindfulness is the essential foundation that we'll be laying. We're going to build on mindfulness. And we're going to do this as we embark on our journey to be well. So, mindfulness. Well, I was introduced to mindfulness or meditation probably over 2.5 decades ago. And meditation is more than mindfulness, and mindfulness is a little different from meditation. But for our purposes here, I'm going to be using the two interchangeably. Back when I was introduced to meditation, very few people talked about mindfulness, but now mindfulness is on everybody's talking about mindfulness. So I consulted with ChatGPT for a definition of mindfulness, and I'm going to share that with you. According to ChatGPT, mindfulness is a mental state and practice that involves paying attention to the present moment in a non-judgmental and accepting way. It's about being fully aware of your thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and the environment around you without getting caught up in them or reacting impulsively. So that's a pretty good definition. So let's unpack that. Mindfulness is about present moment awareness. As you begin to become consciously aware of your thoughts, you'll find that they tend to be either about the past or about the future. And we've already said that they are 80% negative. So negative thoughts about the past, what are those? We're talking about regret, remorse, anger, resentment. Those are negative thoughts about the past. And negative thoughts about the future, fear, anxiety. And of course, these create stress in the body, and stress can be, is dangerous for your health. It does not contribute to your health and works against it. So the incredibly wonderful thing about the practice of mindfulness is that you learn to be fully engaged today in this present moment. Mindfulness You know, if you think about it, anything that happens today. It happens now. The past is, as they say, is history, and the future is mystery. So many of us are feeling anxious and concerned about a future things that never ever materialize. They never happen. So the present moment is all there is. The present moment is where life is. When you're able to be present, when you're able to observe your thoughts and emotions without getting tangled up in them, then you gain a deeper understanding of yourself, and you are able to experience life on a different level. And guess what? Most people never get there. They live and die immersed in negative thoughts, in negativity, enslaved by the past and fearful of the future. And so as you learn to be present, to live in this moment, you will discover personal power that heretofore was unavailable to you. You'll be miles ahead of others in your circle of friends or in your family as you harness the power of mindfulness and meditation and begin to reap the benefits of this practice. And you'll lay a firm foundation for the change that is necessary as you begin and as you persevere on your journey to be well. So, here we go. Now, you feel free to replay this part of the video as often as you need to, and you can make notes if you like on your phone or however you want to do that on a notepad. So, what I want you to do is, I want you to do the following. I want you to make time in your schedule for 2 10-minute mindfulness or meditation sessions for the next 7 days. You can set your phone or your Apple Watch, your smartwatch to remind you that it's time for your meditation, and you can do this in I think for me anyway, it works if I do morning and evening. First thing in the morning before I get busy with my day, last thing before I go to bed. And it sets a really good mindset, or a good, it puts you in the right frame of mind for sleep if you do it just before bedtime. So here we go. We've got 7 steps here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find a place where you won't be disturbed for at least 10 minutes. And it's good if that can be the same place, morning and evening for 7 days, because again, what are we doing here? We're building habits, new habits. And you're going to put on some meditation music. You can search YouTube, you can go on your music streaming app and get some quiet meditative music. Step 3, you're going to sit in a comfortable chair, feet on the floor, straight, with the back straight and with your eyes closed. Posture is very important in this practice. Step 4, you're going to begin by taking 3 cleansing breaths. You're going to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and you're going to hear the air as you breathe in and as you breathe out. So let me give you an example. This is a cleansing breath. Okay, you're going to do 3 of those. And after your 3 cleansing breaths, you're going to take 7 breaths where you breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. You're going to hold for a count of 3. And then you're going to exhale for a count of 7. Let me demonstrate that. Okay. In for 3. Okay, that's going to be, you're going to do that for 7 times. 7 times. In for 4, hold for 3, out for 7. We call that 4-3-7. Okay, Now, after those 7 breaths, you're going to begin to breathe normally, but deliberately, and you're also going to be sure that you're breathing in through your nose. Always, throughout your life, from henceforth and forever, breathe in through your nose. Do not breathe in through your mouth. It promotes poor hygiene. It's totally unhealthy. Breathe in through your nose, and you can breathe out through your nose for this 4-3-7 breath. These 4-3-7 breaths. You can breathe out through your nose or your mouth. It doesn't matter. But again, breathe in through your nose. Now, after these 7 breaths, then you're going to breathe normally, but deliberately, as I said, and you're going to continue to focus on your breath. Now, if your mind begins to stray, and it will, you're going to gently just bring it back to your breath. And you're not going to judge your thoughts. Those thoughts that come in, they will be intrusive, especially as you're starting out. Just let them go. Don't judge them. Don't think negative thoughts about yourself. Don't berate yourself. When the thoughts come that aren't about your breath, just let them go. But I want you to note whether those thoughts that come and go are positive or negative. Okay? Again, you're going to continue to breathe you're going to continue to breathe normally for 10 minutes. The entire session will be 10 minutes. And at the end of 10 minutes, which will find you breathing normally and letting go of those thoughts that come and that may come and go, for those 10 minutes, you're going to finish with one more cleansing breath. In and out through your nose. Now, after each session, that's the 7th step. So when you finish each session, I'm going to want you to take notes. You're going to note 3 areas, and 1, 2, 3, and you are going to, on a scale from 1 to 10, number 1, you're going to ask yourself, how well were you able to focus? If you were able to focus extremely well, okay, that's a 9 or a 10, If you weren't able to focus at all, okay, we're talking a 1 or 2. If somewhere in between, maybe a 4 or 5. That's number 1. Number 2, how positive were your thoughts? As those thoughts came and you let them go, to what extent did they tend to be positive? If they were extremely positive, a 7 plus. If they were negative, you want to do a 4 or less. If they were somewhere in between, maybe a 5. And the third thing we want to do is we want to ask yourself, how well were you able to relax? In other words, at the end of your 10-minute session, did you feel extremely relaxed? That's a 7, 8, or 9. If you didn't feel very relaxed, you were still kind of tense, then that's a 4, 3, and if it was somewhere in between, maybe a 4 or 5. Now, I want you to do this evaluation after each session. So at the end of 7 days, you're going to have 14 evaluations, and you'll be able to compare, how was day 1 different from day 7, and so forth. So now, if this sounds a bit cumbersome, you just hang in there, hang with me, and trust me on this. After a week or so, it will become familiar, it will become comfortable to you, and eventually you're going to begin to look forward to these your mindfulness and meditation sessions, because they are going to become habitual. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how this worked for you. Anything at all you want to share about your 7 days, your 7-day introduction to meditation and mindfulness. Again, I'm Joy Strickland. I'm your wellness coach, and I'll see you back here after 7 days as we continue your journey to be well.